Becoming the list of what you want. Becoming the list of what you want. I do have a clip for context, so no worries. I know everybody was feeling a little worried. Here we go.
I told some ladies one time in this deal, Women Evolve, I think it was. I said, let me show y'all how to find the perfect husband. And of course, a room full of ladies like, woo! He finna tell me. And they start pulling and pulling and pulling. Yeah. I said, I need you to make a list of everything that you want him to be. Make a list. I want his credit score to be 850. I want him to be making $200,000 a year. He got to have his own house. I want him to be well groomed. He got to be well rounded. I say, make everything on that list that you want in a person. Do it. Put it all on there, everything, and become the list. See, we're not willing to become the list of what we want.
Ooh.
See, you just want a bunch of stuff, but you're not willing to become a bunch of stuff.
All right, there it is. Becoming a list of what you want. I'm going to go ahead and start with you first, Marcus. What are your thoughts about that? Becoming a list of what you want.
Yeah, so I think we talked about it last week where I was saying the people with all these lists need to become a list of what they want, or aspirationally all the things you would like to be, work towards those, and then your energy will attract the person that fits the criteria for those things, because like attracts like, and water sinks to his level or rises to his level, whichever may be the choice. But I think like maybe a little off about that is the qualities that men would like from a woman are not symmetrical. It's more of a give and take, so you fit in the yin and yang. So it's not the exact same thing. She might want this type of masculine energy, this type of assertiveness. He might want this type of feminine energy and this type of just malleability or pliability to go along with the relationship. So I think it's good advice taken with a grain of salt, right? Because you got to take into account for the things he may want that you may not, and vice versa. So you don't be stuck in a relationship where you saying he's sassy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Not sassy.
Hey, I've been on social media now reading stuff. What do you say, sassy apocalypse? I think if your list is the same, it's a sassy apocalypse. But yeah.
All right, I'm going to go to you, Ali. What are your thoughts about that? Becoming a list of what you want.
I definitely agree with part of what Marcus said. You should be what you want to attract. So like you shouldn't have bad credit talking about you want a man with good credit. Or you shouldn't be broke and want a rich man. So I mean, unless you like super young in the world, but if you're over 30, you should most likely be the list.
All right. Go ahead, Trav, Smooth.
If I can find that mute button. Okay. So he's on track in a way, whereas you should be equally yoked. That's what we speak about, right? And that's what I was hoping he would be alluding to. But as Marcus touched on a little earlier, we don't want the same things. If a man is making a bunch of money, he could care less what his woman doing as far as that's concerned, right? A man should be assertive. A woman, he's not going to want that from a woman. He's going to want someone who's more submissive. So that's the complete opposite. You can't possibly become the list that you want, because men aren't looking for the same things that women are. It would never work that way. Like if we're masculine, we don't want a woman who's masculine. That's outrageous. We want a woman who's feminine. If we want a woman, we don't need to do the same thing. Marcus had it when he said the yin and the yang, because I'll take up this part, you take up that part. And that's how you come with the balance, right? But at the same time, where he was on point was just to say, all right, because what he's getting at is a lot of women would ask for a lot of things. They have a laundry list of things that they want, right? They want the man to do all the things that he said. We won't go down the list, but we get it. Now, what is it that you offer? And I know women hate the question about what do you bring to the table, but yeah, what do you bring to the table? And we don't necessarily mean money, right? Because me personally, I've never, ever looked for a woman for money. That's crazy, because as a man, I think you should be the provider, right? You should be able to create a space where a woman could rest in her femininity, right? But there's certain responsibilities that you do. I do believe in gender roles. It is what it is. So I'm going to do certain things that I would never have you do, right? No woman for me is ever going to touch trash. She ain't got to shovel snow, none of that stuff. If whether I pay for somebody to do it or I do it myself, but there's certain things that I'm not going to do either, right? I'm not doing no dishes. No, we do have a dishwasher, sure, but I'm not even putting them in there. No, I'm not doing that. Certain things that I'm just not trying to do, but at the same time, certain things you don't have to do. I'm going to do my part. You're going to do your part. And it's not going to be a burden on anybody because I understand. It's my job to make a woman's life comfortable and easy, right? And there's very little that she's going to have to do. And it doesn't mean you need to sit in the kitchen slaving every single day. You're going to get your breaks. You're going to get some days where we could just go out, have date night or whatever, or we order out, whatever. That's cool too. So I understand, but you have to have that balance. And where he really lost me is when he trying to say that we want women to go ahead and make $200,000 a year or have a credit score. I don't care what listen, you can't have debt that I need to take on if we're going into a marriage. That's not cool because I don't need to be paying for stuff that you did before you met me. But at the same time, if your credit's a little shaky, it doesn't matter because mine's is A1. So I don't need you for financing. I don't need to put you on a mortgage, just whatever. It doesn't mean that you don't have just as much rights as I do, but I'm just going to take care of that part and you don't have to worry about it. Let me deal with all the hardships. I'll deal with that. You don't have to worry about bills and none of that. I'm going to take care of what a man should do. And you can go ahead and relax and just take care of me. I'll leave it.
Vincent in the chat says, so far, nobody's answered the question. We come in a list of what you want. Go ahead, Andrea. What are your thoughts about it?
I kind of feel like, well, there's a couple things here, to be honest. I feel like why do we assume, like, when we're talking about finding the best husband, why do we assume that women aren't already what they want? Why do we assume that they're lacking in some area because they decided that they want to be married? So I would just have to kind of like break down what his thoughts are of women as a whole, because it seems like it's rooted in patriarchy. I also feel like it's nothing wrong with wanting someone who may have more money than you and who may have access to other resources that you may not have access to. I mean, we talk about leveling up all the time. Like, I feel like when we're talking about Black women, it's like, oh, settle for this or settle for that. When people have been being married to like get ownership of kingdoms, get royalties, all kinds of stuff, like people would pay like, bride prices for women, all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the conversation surrounding what you need to do to get a husband is like tired anyways. So I don't know. Maybe if you would have came from a different angle of just like being the best version of yourself, it would be different. But that's just my opinion.
All right, go ahead, Precious.
So Andrea, you said becoming the best version of yourself. Wouldn't that be becoming the list that you want? Wouldn't you want someone to be the best version of themselves while you be the best version of yourself?
Get our ass. Thank you.
I feel like, excuse me, can we have some decorum? I feel like talking about the things that we need to become to be a better version of ourselves, starting with finding a husband as the root of that conversation. If those are the type of like introductions to talking about being the best version of ourselves for women, like, I don't know. I feel like that's just, especially coming from a man, I feel like I just don't really see the sincerity in that type of a conversation. I feel like a lot of times when we talk about the mental health of women and just being like healing and going through the healing process as a woman, to start off a conversation with this is how you find a husband. So you're validating your worth and being the best person that you show up in this world as having a husband. Like, is that what we're doing?
I don't think it's necessarily to find a husband. I think as a woman that you just need to be the best you, period. I think being the best you will attract the best husband or the best man or the person that has the same goals. And honestly, a lot of people don't even know what their purpose is. So you're getting with people and you don't know where it's going. Y'all just look good together. Y'all just cooling. but there's no purpose. So I think that once you find out what your purpose is as a woman, it'll be easier to, weed out those people that are just not aligned with you. I think women, I think we get so caught up. While women, I do think that we do need to be covered. I believe that we do need husbands, but you have to be the best version of you as a woman. And that comes with a certain mindset. And that mindset comes from being raised that way. So if you weren't raised that way, it is going to be a little harder for you to get in the mindset of a wife. Now, you may be a good woman, but you also may be this woman that, wants this man to make all this money. You haven't seen a man work hard and come home and take care of a family or even break his back to go out and work for himself and his family. So I think you have to have a certain mindset, a unselfish, a very selfless mindset to be in the position of a wife. But before you talk about a husband, you got to be the best you possible. I think that women get offended or attitudes when a man says what he wants in a woman. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to be the best you. You won't get offended if that's who you are.